All right, listen. Next to enabling corporate startup collaboration, Startup Autobahn and Plug and Play are very active in investing in startup. I think you might have seen Saeed mention most of them today. It's over 30 unicorns that they have invested in. And you know, it's one of the world's most active seed investors. And this next person has been with the Startup Autobahn team and Plug and Play for over 4 years, and she's the venture director at Startup Autobahn and Plug and Play. So, for the people here, you already know, energy is all I need. And I want to introduce to a great colleague of mine now. Please give it up for Theodora. That's right, that's right.
Thank you so much and welcome everyone. I'm the moderator of the next panel where we have 3 exciting venture capitalists talking about the future of tech. So let me introduce you first of all to Neo Zele, partner at Lea Partners, where he supports deep tech companies from idea to exit. He's an advisory board member in companies such as Aleph Alpha, Workerbase, or Flip, where Plug and Play is also invested. Welcome on stage. Next, we have Caroline Weiss, partner at Plug and Play. Caroline has led over 45 investments and has overseen more than 150 investments since the establishment of our EMEA IC took place a couple of years ago. Caro, please welcome on stage. And then third but not least, we have Felix Cross, co-founder and general partner at Vireo Ventures, where he supports European pre-seed and seed startups to succeed on an all-electrified future. He has founded 2 companies himself and recently announced the participation in the seed round of About Energy. Welcome on stage. So maybe let's start with the elephant in the VC room. Let's talk about AI, open AI, right? Where are we standing now? What's the current environment like? Do you think we're currently seeing a bubble, or do you think everything is quite normal and you're expecting to see so much improvement in AI and so much excitement in this industry? Maybe we start with Niels?
Sure. I mean, we invested in Aleph Alpha, I think, 2.5 years ago when there was only like GPT-2. And for me, the big hype was seeing that so much more data could result to a much higher automation level. I think, to me, at least to me, it was crystal clear that this wave will come, but to be honest, not that fast. It's very surprising that we went there so fast. But at least I'm a little bit biased, but I'm pretty sure that AI is here to stay, especially looking at the use cases. Because like 4 years ago, everybody was like saying, hey, AI could be the best or the big thing, but nobody had like real great use cases to show.
Yeah.
But if you now look at least even into my work, yeah, how much I'm using ChatGPT or other AI services to like making me like a 10x productivity person, I think I could not imagine to work not with AI anymore. So I'm pretty sure that's here to stay. And obviously, I think there's a headroom for great companies and startups to like capture this. And I think it's a $1 trillion market because, I mean, ChatGPT is 20% of the white collar work. And if you're looking at like a 50% automation there, I think it's a huge potential. But we can talk a little bit more in detail on that too. Yeah.
And would you say we have a bubble right now, or do you think this is just normal? A consequence of the hype of the AI is normal?
I think both statements are true, to be honest. On the one side, you're seeing a hype, and a lot of like VCs have to show their LPs they can invest into AI. Yeah, because if you don't have like the shiny AI logo on your portfolio, the LP will come and ask the GP, hey, I think you do invest in AI, but I don't see any like of these investments. This is why the pressure is so high for a lot of VCs now to invest into this new wave of AI that they're putting massive money into this market. And I mean, there are companies which, and there are not so many companies who can actually capture all this money. Look, I mean, they're one company for like 10 times the money. This is why so much money is currently flowing in there, and I think it's tricky to find the right picks, obviously, and I think there will be great picks, and there will be companies becoming multi-billion-dollar companies, and then, I mean, even a 200 or 500 million valuation, I think, is fair, but there are a lot of companies, at least to my perspective, just saying they're AI companies, and I don't think that they will become such a huge company. So both statements are true. On the one side, it's super hype, but it's AI is here to stay and will automate so many things. This is why they are, I think, one of the best times also for VC now to invest into these companies, because now you can create, again, like this 10 to 100x carry opportunities.
Absolutely. Caro?
Yeah, maybe, I mean, I fully agree with you, Niels. Obviously, it's going to change a lot. And I mean, what we see now, companies that used to need 500 million to really become 10 billion companies, now you just need 1/10, sometimes even less of that. You need a way smaller team to scale very quickly. And I think all of the tools that we're seeing right now in the market, if you already have customers, use cases, and especially primary data, then you can do a lot. So I think, yes, it's a bubble in terms of maybe some valuations being paid, a lot of VCs investing very aggressively into maybe topics that might not become that big. But I think generally all of us will be a little bit superhuman at some point. And I'm personally also using these tools really to supercharge my work. And so I think it's not a bubble from the application perspective, because that's endless and opportunities are endless. But of course, if you look at some valuations with pre-seed companies still raising at 25 million, for instance, which we've seen, it's of course overinflated. But I think the general application, it's just going to grow, and the market is just going to grow. So yes, it's a valuation bubble, but not an application bubble.
Yeah. We've just seen the French startup, right? Mistral AI, they just raised more than 100 million. And they were only 4 weeks old. So yeah, indeed, valuations and the amounts that they are raising right now in the market are a bit maybe mismatched with the opportunities. Felix, any other thoughts on this? What's your impression of the current environment from your side?
Well, to be totally honest, I think ChatGPT, but also DeepL have seriously changed my life to the better. I'm dyslexic, so anyone who has ever received an email from me might have noticed that. Now using DeepL Write or ChatGPT, I'm not dyslexic anymore, so it has made my life a lot easier. And as Niels said, but also Caro, it will stay. It's here to stay. And yes, there is a certain bubble, as Niels described. Everyone is now rushing into AI. But on the other hand, I believe it's just a given fact now. If your company is not using artificial learning to enhance their data, they will have a problem in the future, because the power of AI is just growing. And also when I look at coding, like all those tech people now, they're just utilizing the power, and they can develop their tools so much faster. So it's a huge benefit for all of us. And I'm really astonished. I'm really happy to actually live this world as an active person in the VC world. So it's amazing.
Yeah, indeed. And there are so many startups integrating AI into existing systems, existing operations, but then there are also the startups that have AI at the core right now. So we see a balance of both, but maybe in the future it will shift more to AI at the core of everything that we do, hopefully. So this bubble, this hype might help out to bring the best solutions for enterprises as well. But maybe moving a bit away from generative AI, what other type of technologies are you most excited about for the future in different domains, maybe energy, mobility, retail, or deep tech? What kind of technologies do you see bringing sustainable growth, let's see, for the next 5-10 years? Anything that you're particularly excited about? Maybe Caro?
Yeah, I can kick it off. So I mean, obviously, lots of exciting things happening. I think one thing I'm personally quite excited about is, on the one hand, edge computing, because everyone expects a more personalized experience. You cannot really have latencies in these topics. So I think that's a very, very exciting technology that we've been seeing applied for now quite some time, but which I think is only growing in importance. And then I think we have quite some exciting showcases here which combine kind of digital twins and also 3D worlds to really innovate way faster and to move things way quicker. We have, for instance, About Energy, which is a very exciting and also joint portfolio, very exciting pilot with Porsche, so definitely go check them out. And yeah, I think that's a very, very exciting, immediate thing that's happening, but it's going to also shape the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, just building on this is what we are seeing about the prices and the efficiency of batteries. I'm really excited about this because if we believe in an all electrified world, batteries are a key to actually help us to reach net zero because renewable energy won't be available 24/7. So the way battery tech has evolved and it's becoming more efficient, it's actually becoming cleaner. And at the same time, costs are going down. So I'm really excited to see that. Same goes with renewable energy generation itself. The efficiencies are increasing, but at the same time, the costs are coming down. So I'm really, really positive about these things.
Are there maybe any companies that you'd like to highlight from your portfolio or from your previous experience that you think are doing a great job in this direction, or we keep that for another conversation?
Well, I would say all of our portfolio companies are doing a great job, but no, as Cara said, we just recently invested into About Energy, and it's one of those companies. We looked at the battery and battery analytics market quite thoroughly, and when I was working for Energy Ventures, the CVC of Energy, some time ago, we looked at the first wave of battery analytics companies, digital twins. And we really liked that, how we were always missing the underlying deep tech angle. And then when we found About Energy, we were like, all right, this is a company actually providing the shovels instead for going and digging the gold themselves. And so I'm really excited about them and yeah, happy to do this journey together.
And anything else to add? Do you have anything that you wanted to point out, Niels, in the market?
I mean, not specifically, but I can agree that these technologies are super relevant, but only it's relevant, it's not a great investment case. Because in the end of the day, as a partner of a fund, you have to make money for your LPs. That's the ultimate goal. And there's so many great technologies popping up, but I think you really have to look through the entrepreneurs who are building like solutions to problems. Yeah, I think, and for example, I mean, on AI side, I think it's not the right time now to invest in the 6th or 7th OpenAI. I think the infrastructure is then, and I think it's quite tricky also to challenge NVIDIA or AMD, for example. But if you look what you can now do with this technology, for example, if you are a smart guy and want to create like a tech-enabled service, yeah, you're using this AI and becoming like this big agency for marketing, for law, for taxes, I don't know. But and like you're serving tens and hundreds of thousand customers, but you only need 10 people. I mean, now you're having a software margin in a service business. Like I think that's quite promising, which is only one side. But obviously, looking at organizations, what they will become autonomous. So obviously, more automation is needed. The blue-collar market, by the way, is totally unserved. Yeah. ChatGPT is only made for white-collar work, but I mean, you can't use ChatGPT to reconstruct this building. Yeah. So what are the 10x productivity levels in blue-collar? I think is quite promising, but also obviously convenience, making work more easy, and I mean, you are more have more knowledge on that, but becoming like CO2 or creating like the new green economy is super important because everybody's dealing with it, and it's always you need to have the right timing for a certain technology to become huge or a solution. I think these three things have the momentum where entrepreneurs can build long-lasting companies.
Yeah. Absolutely. Maybe looking at the time, let's switch gears and do a session of quick fire questions. So I will ask a question and maybe each of you will answer in 30 minutes or 60 minutes, if that's okay. My first question would be, how do you define success as a VC?
I mean, I guess Niels already kind of answered it. Obviously, like you have investors that expect returns, so it's the financial return. I think as Plug and Play, it's also seeing how can they actually provide value to some of our corporate partners, how do they actually drive revenues, how they decrease costs. So I think that's also another level, and obviously also which impact do they have on the world. But I think ultimately for any fund, we're financial institutions, it also goes back down to returns.
Yeah. Niels?
What again?
How do you define success at Lia Partners? Apart from the financial side, maybe are there other metrics or?
I mean, there's a clear metric. This is called DPI, distributed paid in capital. Yeah, and looking at all ventures, I see only a fraction of VCs who are creating real DPIs. So this is like the real success for your LPs. On a broader term, obviously creating long-lasting companies who have an impact, but always, if you create long-lasting companies, you ultimately will create DPI for your investors.
Yeah. Felix?
Financial returns and impact returns.
Perfect. Short and sweet. Next question. What is one of your biggest surprise from your VC experience so far? Have you encountered something that was unexpected?
It's always the first board meeting. First board meeting is like you're suddenly there and you believed you've found out everything during your due diligence, and then suddenly you realize, well, I might have missed this point. So as someone said, this is called the oh shit meeting, and at least, yeah, to us it's always the first board meeting.
Perfect. Caro?
For me, it's to be honest how little the VC industry has changed over the last years. So we still do due diligence the same way, we still scout the same way. I think now with all of the AI tools, it's the first time it's moving a little bit, but gut feeling and pattern recognition can probably never be replaced. But we invest in innovation, but we're not that innovative. So I think that's always like a big surprise for me.
And I'm surprised how much have not changed, actually. Still, everybody's talking about we need to be data-driven, et cetera,
Yeah.
and so many just don't do it. Yeah? So I'm surprised how much things not change, and everybody's saying it changed.
Yeah. I guess we'll get there at some point. Not sure how fast, but we're on the right track.
Hopefully.
Maybe final question before we wrap up. What's one of the most important traits that you look for in a founder?
Resilience.
Adaptability of the founder team and management.
Hire people that are better than themselves. This is the one metric I would say most, at least the successful founders I know, have in common. They attract other people who are better than themselves.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Niels, Caro, Felix. It was a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you, Theo.